There was once a woman who wished very much to have a little child, but she could not fulfill her wish. At last, she went to a witch and said, "I would love to have a little child. Can you tell me where I can find one?" "Oh, that can be easily arranged," said the witch. "Here is a barley corn of a different kind from those that grow in the farmer's fields. Plant it in a flower pot and see what happens." The woman thanked the witch and gave her 12 shillings, the price of the barley corn. She went home and planted it, and immediately a large, handsome flower grew. It looked like a tulip, but remained tightly closed. "It is a beautiful flower," the woman said, kissing its red and golden leaves. As she did so, the flower opened, and inside, upon the green velvet stamens, sat a delicate and graceful little maiden. She was scarcely half as long as a thumb, so they named her Thumbelina, or Tiny, because she was so small. A polished walnut shell served as her cradle, with a bed made of blue violet leaves and a rose leaf for a blanket. This cozy bed, and during the day, she played on a plate of water where a tulip leaf floated like a boat. She rowed herself from side to side with 2 oars made of white horsehair. Tiny could also sing so sweetly that no one had ever heard anything like her voice before. One night, while she lay asleep, a large, ugly toad crept through a broken window, leapt onto the table, and said, "What a beautiful wife she would make for my son." The toad grabbed the walnut shell with Tiny inside and hopped into the garden. In a swampy part of a broad stream, the toad lived with her uglier son. When he saw the pretty maiden, all he could say was croak, croak, croak. "Don't speak so loudly," said the mother toad. "She might wake up and run away, for she is as light as swan's down. We shall place her on a water lily leaf so she cannot escape, while we prepare a home under the marsh." They placed Tiny on a large green lily pad far out in the water. When she woke up in the morning and saw nothing but water around her, she wept bitterly. The little fishes who swam beneath the leaf saw Tiny and felt sorry for her. "She must not stay with those ugly toads," they said. So they gnawed at the stem of the leaf until it broke free. The leaf floated down the stream, carrying Tiny far away. As she sailed, little birds in the bushes saw her and sang, "What a lovely little creature!" A graceful white butterfly fluttered around her and finally landed on her leaf. Tiny was happy, for now the toad could not reach her. She untied her girdle, fastened one end around the butterfly, and tied the other to the leaf, making it glide faster. Just then, a large cockchafer flew by. Seeing Tiny, he grabbed her by the waist and flew into a tree. The leaf floated away, carrying the butterfly with it. Tiny was frightened and especially sad for the butterfly, who would starve if he could not free himself. The cockchafer, however, paid no attention. He gave her honey and told her she was pretty, although not like a cockchafer. Soon other cockchafers gathered and inspected her. "She has only 2 legs, they ... She has no feelers, her waist is too slim." "How ugly," said all the lady cockchafers. The one who had captured her now believed them and let her go, leaving her on a daisy. Tiny wept. She was the loveliest creature imaginable. Yet even the cockchafers rejected her. For the entire summer, Tiny lived alone in the great forest. She wove a bed from blades of grass and hung it beneath a broad leaf to protect herself from the rain. She drank dew and ate nectar. But then winter came. The birds had flown away, the trees withered, and Tiny had no shelter. She shivered with cold, wrapping herself in a dry leaf. Snowflakes, as large as she was, fell upon her. At last, she reached the home of a field mouse. "Poor little creature," said the kind old mouse. "Come inside and warm yourself. If you clean my house and tell me stories, you may stay all winter." Tiny was grateful and agreed. The mouse said, "My neighbor visits soon. He is rich and wears a black velvet coat. If you marry him, you will never want for anything." But the neighbor was a mole who despised the sun and lived in darkness. Tiny disliked him. One day, Tiny found a swallow half dead in the mole's tunnel. She secretly cared for him all winter. When spring came, the swallow invited Tiny to fly away with him, but she refused, not wanting to disappoint the field mouse. The field mouse soon announced, "In 4 weeks, you shall marry the mole." Tiny wept. She would never see the bright sun again. On the day of her wedding, she went outside to bid farewell to the sun. "Goodbye, bright sun," she cried. At that moment, she heard a familiar sound tweet, tweet. It was the swallow. He had returned. "Come with me," he said. "I will take you where the sun shines forever." Tiny climbed onto his back, and they soared into the sky. They flew over mountains, forests, and rivers, reaching a land where it was always summer. The swallow placed Tiny upon a beautiful flower. Inside, there stood a little prince, as small as Tiny. He was the king of the flowers. He placed a gold crown on her head and asked her to be his queen. Tiny joyfully agreed. The flower fairies gifted her delicate wings, allowing her to fly. The swallow sang at her wedding, though his heart was heavy, for he loved Tiny too. "You shall no longer be called Tiny," said the flower spirits. "Your new name shall be Maya." The swallow bid her farewell and returned to Denmark. There, he sang outside the window of the writer who told this tale. Moral of the story: no matter how small you are capable of great things. True happiness is found when you follow your heart, and kindness is always rewarded.